You know, life can change in a fucking instant. Sunday, while we were in the mountains, my little brother took a ricochet to the chest at the gun range. I still don't know what to think of the situation. He's all right now. He survived. Luckily, it wasn't as severe as everybody thought it was at first, because it was a scare when it first happened. It was an absolute fucking scare, and everybody was terrified, and nobody really knew what the fuck was going on. It all happened so damn fast. But me and Jaden went to Batcave Sunday to meet up with Mark, Joey, Lynn, and the team and everybody over there at Batcave Disaster Relief. And we met up with Cal, and we presented an inspirational art piece to Batcave Disaster Relief. And while we were there, Jaden was like, I wonder what my brothers are up to. I said, oh, well, your Uncle Tommy was coming to pick them up and take them to the gun range. I said, they probably up there at the range on Tilly Creek having a damn good time. I said, let's finish up here, and then we'll get back to the house and hang out with everybody. So, yeah, after we finished up in Batcave, we struck out. I called my mom. I guess we were coming through Fairview on 74 alternate, headed back to Cullowhee. And my mom is not the best deliverer of information at all. She always starts with the absolute worst and wants to tell you the absolute worst of it before clarifying that everything's fucking okay. And I had to cut her. I was like, get to the fucking point. You know, fuck all that shit. I don't give a fuck how it happened. Is he okay? Is my little brother okay? She says, well, he's in the hospital right now. He's stable, and he's got his awareness back. But apparently, they were all standing there and, you know, just having range time like they always do. And the range had changed from the wooden hangers for the targets to, I think he said, rebar, which was fucking stupid. And, well, they don't know if it was an actual round that fragmented and came back, or if it was a chunk of rebar or some other type of metal. But it come back, went through both his t-shirts and hit him dead center of the sternum. And, you know, he said he kind of vaguely remembers getting hit, and he didn't think nothing of it. And then he was trying to breathe. He couldn't breathe, and every time he tried to take a breath, he couldn't breathe, but his chest would get hot as fuck. So he moseyed over to lift up his t-shirt. When he lifted up his t-shirt, a metal fragment fell out. Well, he's still short on breath, so he sat down. Everybody said he ended up going unconscious, and he fell out. He was pale white, and his pulse dropped. They had trouble getting a pulse. They finally got a faint pulse. Luckily, EMTs were on site. They took care of him. They got him to the hospital, and by the grace of God, you know, if you believe in God, whatever God you believe in miracles or whatever. But it had lost enough velocity that it hit him in the chest like a brick, but it didn't penetrate his sternum. It busted up the flesh to the bone, but it didn't penetrate his sternum. And, you know, everybody said that my youngest son was standing right there when it happened. And that's his favorite uncle. That's his favorite person in the entire family. You know, Papa might get upset, but Uncle Tommy is my son's favorite person, you know, especially his favorite uncle. And, you know, that boy was horrified. He was terrified. He was scared shitless. You know, he's at the range. They've been at the range, you know, a million times. They've been in the little one we have in the backyard here at the house a million times. And nothing like that has ever happened. And for him to witness his uncle right in front of his eyes get hit with a ricochet, and to watch him fall out, and EMTs and everybody rushed to him trying to find a pulse and trying to figure out what the hell just happened, it scared the absolute shit out of that boy. And rightly so. But luckily, in the end, my little brother got out the hospital, and, you know, they patched up the flesh wound and everything on his chest. He was sore as fuck, you know, he felt like he got hit by a fucking train. But, you know, I was in tears on the way home because it's just the realization that I could have lost my little brother. That the night before when he left, that could have been the last time that I ever seen or spoke to my little brother. And I ain't shed no tears. And all that water that was built up in my damn eyes, if you talk to my daughter, that was because it was dusty in Batcave, okay? They ain't got the roads fixed yet. They patched, but they ain't fixed. My eyes was full of dust, okay? All right? I wasn't about to cry over my little brother. No, not at all. Anyway, my daughter ratted me out to him. So when he got out the hospital, he came to my mom's house where we were. My daughter ratted him out, and he come up, and he's like, she said you was bawling, said you was weeping over me. I said, bullshit. I said, my eyes were watering, but a goddamn tear never fell. I said, I sucked them back in. I said, besides, them tears had nothing to do with you. Them watery eyes had nothing to do with you. I said, it was dusty in Batcave. It was really dusty in Batcave when I was there. He said, oh, he patted me on the shoulder. He's like, you really do care about me. I looked back. I said, fuck you. He said, fuck you too. And we smiled and walked off. And everybody's looking at us and shit. I said, that's how we say I love you. Can't say that to each other. But yeah, life can change in an instant. So cherish your loved ones. Spend time with them. You know, don't hold back, because you never know what kind of freak accident is going to happen that may change y'all's lives entirely or end one of them. So be very careful out there and make sure that if there's somebody in your life that you love and you care for, you make it known and you spend some time with them, because you never know what moments their last.